Hello everyone. I'm Natasha, your host for today's English learning session. If you're new here, I want to let you know that we upload a brand new English learning video every day to help you become more confident, more fluent, and more natural in English. In today's episode, you're not just going to sharpen your English listening and speaking skills, but also develop one of the most important abilities for long-term success in English learning: how to remember English words easily. This is one of the biggest challenges for English learners, but also one of the most rewarding skills to master. We'll explore how your memory works, why you forget new vocabulary, and what you can do to make English words stick in your mind for good. I'll guide you through real-life learning techniques, memory tricks, and daily habits that make vocabulary learning feel easier and more natural. By the end of this video, you'll be equipped with practical ways to build a stronger memory for words and expressions. And we'll also practice together using examples and exercises to help you make real progress. So, if you want to remember more, forget less, and speak better English with confidence, this episode is just for you. Before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you never miss another helpful English learning video. Now, let's begin today's journey. Grab a pen and notebook and get ready to unlock the secret of remembering English words more easily. Learning English vocabulary can feel overwhelming, especially when you try to remember a new word but forget it the very next day. You study hard, you read articles, you write words down in your notebook, but when the moment comes to use them in a conversation, your mind goes blank. It's frustrating, and you are not alone. Every English learner faces this challenge at some point. But the good news is, remembering English words can become easier when you change the way you learn. The truth is, memorization is not just about repetition. It's about connection. If your brain finds a word meaningful, it will remember it. If the word is just a list on a page, it will be forgotten. So today, I'll guide you through how you can build strong mental connections with English words, making them part of your long-term memory and daily speaking habits. Let's begin with a simple idea. Your brain remembers things that are emotional, visual, or personal. Think about the last time you watched a powerful movie. You probably remember specific scenes, lines, or emotions because they connected with you. Now imagine learning English words in the same way. Instead of just writing down the word umbrella and trying to memorize it, picture yourself standing outside on a rainy day, holding a big blue umbrella, and saying to yourself, "I need my umbrella because it's raining." Now you're not just learning the word. You're feeling it, seeing it, and using it in a personal sentence. This activates different parts of your brain and builds a stronger memory. This method is called visual association, and it's one of the easiest ways to remember English vocabulary. Let's try a small exercise. I want you to close your eyes for a moment and imagine you're in a kitchen. There's a cup of tea on the table, a loaf of bread next to it, and some butter in a small dish. You're sitting at the table, spreading butter on a slice of bread. While doing that, say this in your mind: "I am spreading butter on my bread." You just learned and practiced 3 words: tea, bread, and butter. And you didn't memorize them by repeating them over and over. You used them in a real moment that your mind can picture clearly. The more you do this kind of practice, the easier it becomes to learn and remember new words. Another useful way to remember words is to use them in context. Think of vocabulary as part of a story, not just a list. If you write a story using your new words, even a simple one, you will remember them better. For example, let's say you are learning the words bicycle, helmet, and park. You could write a short story like this: "Yesterday, I rode my bicycle to the park. I wore my helmet because safety is important. At the park, I sat on a bench and watched children play. This story is simple, but it creates a setting in your mind. It's not just the word bicycle anymore. It's your bicycle, in your story, in your memory. Try writing your own mini stories every day using 5 new words. These stories don't have to be perfect. They just need to be meaningful to you. Now, let's explore another method called spaced repetition. Our brains forget things when we don't review them. But if you review a word at regular intervals, especially right before you forget it, the word becomes stronger in your memory. There are apps that help with this, like Anki or Memrise. But you can also create your own system. Write down 5 new words today. Tomorrow, review them. Then again in 2 days. Then after a week. Each time you see the word, your brain says, "Oh, this again. It must be important." That's how memory works. The key is not how many times you repeat something, but when you repeat it. Let's do a practical memory exercise right now. I'm going to give you 5 new English words. Try to imagine each one clearly and repeat a sentence using it. The first word is ladder. Now, imagine you are in your garden, climbing a ladder to pick apples from a tree. Say in your mind, "I am climbing the ladder to pick apples." The second word is mirror. Picture yourself standing in front of a mirror and brushing your hair. Say, "I am brushing my hair in front of the mirror." The third word is backpack. Imagine walking to school with a heavy backpack on your shoulders. Say, "My backpack is full of books today." The fourth word is gloves. Picture wearing warm gloves on a cold day. Say, "I put on my gloves because it's freezing outside." And the fifth word is candle. Imagine lighting a candle in your room at night. Say, "This candle smells like vanilla." These small personal sentences are the building blocks of a strong vocabulary memory. You might wonder, should you write these words down? Yes, writing helps. But don't just copy the word 10 times. That doesn't help you remember. Instead, write one sentence using the word in your life. For example, instead of just writing mirror, write, "I look in the mirror every morning after I wake up." This creates a real connection between the word and your daily routine. Your brain understands it better when it's about you. This is called active recall with personalization. And it's a powerful memory technique for language learning. Another important part of remembering words is using them as soon as possible. If you learn a new word today and don't use it for a week, you will probably forget it. But if you use it in a conversation or write a message using it today, you're more likely to keep it. Try to use every new word you learn within 24 hours. Even if you don't have someone to talk to, speak to yourself. Describe what you're doing. If you just learned the word boil, say out loud while cooking, "I am boiling water for tea." Speaking out loud is not just for pronunciation. It's also for memory. The more senses you involve speaking, hearing, writing, imagining, the better your memory becomes. Another highly effective method to improve your memory of English vocabulary is word mapping. A word map is like a web that connects new words to other familiar words. Let's take the word cold. You can connect it to related words like freezing, chilly, ice, snow, and jacket. Then you build small phrases or sentences around those connections. For example, "The weather is freezing today, so I need my jacket." Or, "I put ice in my glass because the water wasn't cold enough." By building these connections, you create a web of understanding that makes remembering words much easier. This web grows stronger each time you revisit it or add a new connection. Think of your brain as a giant network, and every time you connect a new word to something you already know, the network becomes richer and more organized. Now, let's talk about something called emotional memory. People remember words better when there is an emotion attached to them. This could be a happy moment, a funny situation, or even something that made you feel curious or surprised. For example, maybe the first time you heard the word fireworks was during a holiday celebration with your family. You felt excitement, joy, and wonder. That emotional connection helps you remember the word fireworks forever. So when you learn a new word, try to connect it with an emotion or a memory from your life. Even better, act it out. If the word is angry, make an angry face. If the word is laugh, laugh out loud. Emotions activate a deeper part of your brain that stores stronger memories. This kind of learning isn't just useful, it's also fun and engaging. You can also improve your memory through storytelling. Create imaginary stories using the words you want to learn. These stories can be silly or serious. It doesn't matter, as long as they hold your attention. For example, if you're learning the words pillow, window, cat, and blanket, you could create a short story like this. Last night, I fell asleep on my pillow while my cat sat next to me. The window was open, and the cold air came in, so I pulled my blanket up to my chin. This story not only uses your target words, but also forms a visual and emotional memory. If you do this every day with just 5 or 6 new words, you'll be surprised at how much easier it becomes to recall them later. Let's do another practice story together. Imagine you are in a small village. You wake up early and walk outside. The sun is rising. You hear birds singing. You go to the market to buy apples, bananas, and a loaf of bread. On your way back, you see a little dog running across the street. You wave at a neighbor and say hello. You go home, make breakfast, and sit near the window to enjoy your food. In this story, you've just practiced words like village, market, apples, bananas, bread, dog, neighbor, breakfast, and window. Because these words are part of a flowing, relatable event, your brain will remember them better than if you just wrote them in a notebook. Another powerful trick is to connect English words to your first language, but do it carefully. Some learners create vocabulary lists with translations, but that method can slow you down over time. Instead, try to use pictures or definitions in English itself. For example, instead of writing window equals, write a window is a glass opening in a wall that you can see through. This helps you think in English and also improves your understanding of how words are used. If you must use your native language, use it only in the early stages. As you grow, shift to full English definitions. This way, you're not just memorizing, you're training your brain to think in English. Let's take a break with a short memory-building exercise. I'll give you 4 words, and I want you to imagine a mini scene for each. The first word is clock. Imagine a big clock on your wall ticking loudly in the quiet morning. Say to yourself, the clock is ticking as I drink my coffee. The second word is shoes. Picture tying your shoes before leaving for work. Say, I tied my shoes before stepping outside. The third word is bookstore. Imagine walking into a small bookstore with shelves full of books. Say, I love the smell of old books in the bookstore. The fourth word is clouds. Look up at the sky in your mind and imagine big white clouds moving slowly. Say, the clouds are covering the sun today. These small personal sentences help create a connection between the word and your memory, and this kind of visualization improves both vocabulary and fluency. Another tip that helps many learners is keeping a vocabulary journal, not just a list of words, but a living, breathing notebook that includes your personal experiences with each word. Write down when and where you learned the word, how you used it, and what it reminds you of. For example, let's say you learned the word restaurant. In your notebook, you could write, I first learned this word while watching a video. I used it today when I told my friend. let's go to the restaurant for dinner. It reminds me of the Italian place near my house. This type of journaling makes your vocabulary deeply personal, and personal words are easier to remember than random ones. One more technique is to teach the word to someone else. Teaching is a form of active learning. When you explain a word to another person, your brain organizes it more deeply. You might teach your friend, your sibling, or even talk to yourself in the mirror. Explain what the word means, use it in a sentence, and give a simple definition. For example, take the word hungry. Say, hungry means you want food. For example, I'm hungry because I haven't eaten lunch yet. Even if you don't have anyone to teach, just saying it out loud can help you remember better. Your brain stores spoken information more efficiently when you explain something in your own words. Let's do one last vocabulary story for this part of the lesson. Picture this. You're walking through a forest early in the morning. The air is cool. You hear birds and see sunlight coming through the trees. You find a wooden bench and sit down to rest. You take out a bottle of water from your backpack and drink it. Then you write in your notebook about how peaceful everything feels. In this story, you're practicing words like forest, morning, cool, birds, trees, bench, backpack, water, and peaceful. Use this story to repeat and remember these words. Say each sentence slowly to yourself. Imagine it clearly in your mind. The more real it feels, the longer the words will stay in your memory. Another secret to remembering English words is creating a daily habit of interaction with the language. Many learners make the mistake of thinking that vocabulary is something they should only study during lessons or while reading textbooks. But the reality is, the more often you meet a word in your daily life, the more familiar it becomes. Try to surround yourself with English every day, even in small ways. For example, change your phone settings to English. Read the headlines of English news articles. Or follow a social media page that posts English quotes or tips. Even these little exposures help strengthen your memory. Every time you see a word again, your brain says, "Oh yes, I've seen this before." And that recognition helps lock the word in your long-term memory. You can also try what's called language immersion. Even if you're not living in an English-speaking country, language immersion means filling your environment with English so that you are constantly interacting with it. Watch short English videos, listen to English songs, or keep a to-do list in English. For example, instead of writing "buy milk" in your native language, write it in English. Then say it out loud. I need to buy milk. These everyday connections help vocabulary feel natural rather than forced. The more your brain connects English to your real life, the easier it is to remember. Now let's move to a technique that many memory experts use. Memory palaces. A memory palace is a mental place where you store information. It may sound advanced, but it's actually simple and fun. Imagine your house. Now, assign a new word to each room in your house. In the kitchen, you might store the word spoon. Imagine a giant spoon dancing on your kitchen counter. In the living room, you might place the word television. Picture a television that's playing your favorite show. The more unusual or funny the image, the easier it is to remember. As you mentally walk through your house, you'll remember the words stored in each room. This method works because our brains are very good at remembering places and visual scenes. Let's do a quick practice together. Imagine your bedroom. On your bed, there's a huge yellow book. On your pillow, there's a smiling banana. Near your door, there's a jacket hanging on a hook. As you walk into your room, you see all of these things clearly. Now say the words again: book, banana, jacket. This scene is now a part of your mental palace. You can return to it later and still remember the vocabulary. This type of memory tool is especially helpful when you are preparing for exams, or trying to remember word lists quickly. Another great tip is using categories. Our brains love order. If you organize your vocabulary into themes or categories, it's easier to remember. For example, you can have a category for food, clothing, emotions, travel, or daily routines. Within each category, write the words that belong to it and make example sentences. For food, you might write apple, rice, bread, chicken, juice. Then make a sentence like, I ate rice and chicken for dinner, and I drank apple juice. By learning in categories, you're not only remembering individual words, you're building a mental group that helps your brain recall faster. Now let's practice using a category together. Let's choose the category of emotions. Some common emotion words are happy, sad, excited, angry, tired. Try imagining a short scene using all of these. Picture yourself waking up and feeling tired. You drink coffee and feel happy. You receive good news and feel excited. Then someone shouts at you and you feel angry. Later, you watch a sad movie and feel emotional. These emotional scenes are easy to picture, and the words become connected in your mind. Repeat the words again: tired, happy, excited, angry, sad. These are now stored together, making them easier to remember. You can also remember vocabulary better by connecting words to actions. This is called total physical response. If you are learning the word jump, physically jump while saying the word. If it's smile, then smile. When your body moves, your brain becomes more active, and the memory becomes stronger. This is why children learn language so fast. They move, play, and learn with their whole body. Even as an adult, using physical movement in your learning helps you remember words faster and longer. It may feel silly at first, but it works. Try it with words like sit, walk, clap, run, wave. Act them out as you say them, and they'll become easier to recall in real-life situations. Let's try a small physical vocabulary exercise. Stand up if you can. Now say, I walk to the kitchen and take a few steps. Next say, I sit on the chair and sit. Then say, I clap my hands and clap 3 times. After that say, I jump with joy and jump once. Finally say, I wave goodbye and wave your hand. This small practice helps your brain link words to actions. The stronger the link, the stronger your memory. Another thing that helps with vocabulary memory is using your senses. The more senses you involve, the deeper the memory becomes. Think about the word coffee. Don't just say the word. Smell the coffee. Imagine the warmth of the cup in your hands. Picture the brown liquid. Taste it in your mind. Hear the sound of it being poured. All of these senses add layers to the word in your memory. Try it with words like rain, music, chocolate, or fire. Activate your senses to create powerful associations. Let's try one right now. The word is rain. Close your eyes and imagine the sound of rain falling on the roof. Feel the cool air. See the gray sky. Picture yourself standing near a window, watching the drops fall. Say, it's raining outside, and I'm watching from the window. You have now used hearing, sight, touch, and imagination, all helping you remember the word rain in a rich, detailed way. Let's end this part with a short story that includes sensory language. Imagine this. It's early morning. You wake up and smell fresh bread baking in the oven. The sun is shining through your window. You put on your slippers and walk into the kitchen. The bread is warm, soft, and smells delicious. You cut a slice, add some butter, and take a bite. You feel happy and relaxed. In this simple story, you've used words like morning, bread, oven, kitchen, butter, and slippers. all tied to sensory experience. These are the kind of stories that help your memory grow stronger, day by day. Sometimes the best way to remember English vocabulary is to repeat it naturally in your own voice, not just silently in your mind. When you speak words out loud, your mouth, ears, and brain work together to create stronger connections. This is called auditory reinforcement. Hearing yourself speak helps you recognize your mistakes, build confidence, and remember words better. One great habit to start is to speak to yourself in English during your daily activities. For example, when you're cooking, describe what you're doing. I am washing the vegetables. Now I'm boiling the water. Or, I need to cut the onions. These small sentences may seem simple, but they're very effective. You are not only using the words, but you're placing them in a real-world situation that matters to you. These moments become small but powerful lessons for your brain. Shadowing is another method that many English learners find useful. It means listening to someone speak in English and repeating exactly what they say right after them. This helps you learn the pronunciation, the rhythm, and the natural word combinations. You can do shadowing with English podcasts, YouTube videos, or even this very video. Just pause the video after a sentence and repeat what you heard. For example, if you hear the sentence, "I love going to the beach on sunny days," you repeat it out loud, mimicking the tone and speed. Doing this regularly will help you remember words through rhythm and flow, not just isolated meaning. Language is music, and the more you listen and repeat, the more your memory catches the melody of English. Let's practice a shadowing activity together. I'll say a sentence, and you repeat after me. Ready? I enjoy drinking coffee in the morning. Again. I enjoy drinking coffee in the morning. Next. She always takes her dog for a walk after dinner. Repeat it again. She always takes her dog for a walk after dinner. Now, they are learning new words every day. One more time. They are learning new words every day. As you speak, notice how your voice follows the pattern and feeling of the sentence. This is how memory and fluency grow at the same time. You can also improve vocabulary memory by writing regularly. Start a small English journal, where you write a few sentences every day using new words. It doesn't need to be long or perfect. The key is consistency. For example, today you learn the word train. In your journal, you write, "Today I saw a train passing near my house. It was loud and fast." Tomorrow, maybe you learn raincoat, and you write, "I wore my raincoat because it was raining when I went to the store." These sentences become personal records of your learning. They're not just exercises. They're memories. And memory built through writing is stronger, because you're creating your own unique version of the language. Another helpful technique is substitution. When you learn a new word, try using it to replace a simpler word you already know. For example, instead of always saying happy, try words like joyful, cheerful, or glad. Instead of big, try huge, enormous, or gigantic. This helps you expand your vocabulary by creating groups of words with similar meanings. The more you experiment, the more flexible and fluent your language becomes. This also improves your long-term memory, because your brain understands that these words are related, and that knowledge forms a deeper layer of memory. Let's try a substitution practice. Start with the simple sentence, "I am tired." Now try changing it. You could say, "I feel sleepy," or "I'm exhausted," or "I need rest." Each version gives a slightly different feeling, and each one helps you expand your vocabulary. Let's try another. Original sentence, "It's hot." Now say, "It's warm." "It's boiling." Or, it's very sunny today. This small practice is great for speaking and writing. You're not just memorizing. You're building your ability to choose the right word in different situations. Another important strategy is reviewing vocabulary just before sleeping. This method takes advantage of the brain's natural memory process during sleep. When you review words at night, your brain continues to process them while you rest. This is called memory consolidation. Spend just 5 minutes before going to bed, reading or listening to the new words you learned that day. Then try to use them in 1 or 2 short sentences. For example, you learned the words basket, window, and quiet. Before sleeping, say, I placed the apples in the basket near the window. The house was quiet. Repeat this silently in your mind. Then relax. This nightly routine can make a big difference in how well you remember words in the long term. You can also benefit from practicing opposites. Learning a word and its opposite at the same time helps you understand both better. If you learn hot, also learn cold. If you learn happy, also learn sad. This contrast helps your brain create a visual and emotional map of the words. Let's try it with some example pairs. The first pair is clean and dirty. Imagine cleaning your room. Then imagine it being messy again. Say, the kitchen is clean now. Yesterday it was dirty. Next pair, early and late. Say, I arrived early today, but yesterday I was late. Third pair, easy and hard. Say, this lesson is easy. That one was hard. By doing this, your brain learns both words in a deeper, connected way. Let's create a short story using opposites to help with memory. Imagine this scene. You wake up early on a sunny day. The room is clean and quiet. You feel happy and excited. But suddenly, the weather changes. It becomes cloudy and cold. You go outside and get wet in the rain. Now you feel tired and a little sad. You return home, take a warm shower, and feel comfortable again. In this short scene, you've used several opposite pairs: early and late, clean and dirty, happy and sad, hot and cold, tired and energetic. These stories help glue the words together in your memory. Finally, remember that you don't need to remember every word perfectly right away. Vocabulary learning is a slow and steady process. What matters most is regular practice and real-life usage. The words you use often will naturally stay with you. The ones you don't need will fade. And that's okay. Trust your brain's natural ability to remember what's useful. Just keep learning a little every day, and you'll see how your memory grows stronger, and your vocabulary becomes wider and more confident. Let's talk now about the power of questions in vocabulary memory. Asking and answering questions in English helps you interact with new words in a natural and useful way. When you ask yourself questions using new vocabulary, your brain is forced to retrieve the meaning, imagine a situation, and form a sentence all in real time. That's how real communication works, and that's how memory is strengthened. For example, if you've just learned the word restaurant, ask yourself, when was the last time I went to a restaurant? Then answer it in English, even if it's just to yourself. Last week, I went to a restaurant with my family. We ate pasta and had ice cream for dessert. This simple question creates a story and memory for that word. Repeat this method with every new word you learn, and your brain will begin storing words in a more useful, retrievable way. Let's do a small question-answer exercise together. I'll ask a question, and you answer it using your imagination. Question 1. What do you wear when it's cold? Your answer could be, I wear a jacket, a scarf, and gloves when it's cold. Now question 2. What do you usually eat for breakfast? You might say, I usually eat eggs, bread, and drink tea for breakfast. Question 3. What's something you always carry in your bag? Your answer. I always carry a notebook and a pen in my bag. This method helps you not only practice vocabulary, but also build fluency by responding quickly with natural answers. Another helpful tip is building memory through comparison. When you compare two things, you force your brain to focus on details and differences, which strengthens memory. Try learning vocabulary in pairs by comparing objects, actions, or places. For example, learn river and lake together. A river flows and moves, while a lake is still and flat. Create sentences like, the river runs fast through the mountains. And, we had a picnic near the calm lake. Now try comparing bus and train. A bus drives on the road, while a train travels on tracks. Say, I took the bus to work yesterday, but today I'm going by train. This method of comparison helps you remember new words by understanding how they're used differently. You can also train your memory with daily object description. Every day, choose 5 common objects around you and describe them in detail. For example, pick a chair. Say out loud, this chair is made of wood. It has 4 legs. It is brown and comfortable. Then pick a window. Say, the window is clean. It shows the garden outside. It has white curtains. Continue with more. Describe your phone, your bed, your cup, your table. This kind of slow, clear observation makes everyday vocabulary stick in your mind. Because these objects are part of your life, the memory becomes personal and strong. Now, let's practice this technique together. Look around and choose any object near you. If you see a clock, describe it. The clock is round. It has black numbers. It hangs on the wall and shows the time. If you have a backpack near you, say, my backpack is blue. It has 2 zippers. I carry my books and snacks in it. If you're sitting on a sofa, say, this sofa is soft and wide. I watch TV while sitting here in the evening. The more you do this, the more your brain learns to notice and describe in English, turning short-term vocabulary into long-term memory. Another trick is to repeat vocabulary while doing a routine task. If you go for a walk, repeat the words you learned during the day. For example, say to yourself, sky, tree, flower, sidewalk, bird. Then make a sentence. I see a tree with green leaves. A bird is flying in the sky. You are combining movement with speech and vision. This multitasking actually improves memory because the body and brain are working together. You can also do this while washing dishes, cooking, or even brushing your teeth. Repeat words out loud or in your mind. Plate, spoon, water, soap. And then turn them into mini sentences. I wash the plate with soap. The spoon is clean now. This kind of vocabulary meditation builds strong connections with simple repetition and action. Let's continue with another scene-building practice to enhance your memory. Imagine it's a Sunday morning. You wake up late and stretch. The sun is shining through the window. You go to the kitchen and make pancakes. You pour syrup on top and enjoy your breakfast with a hot cup of coffee. Then you sit on your balcony, read a book, and listen to birds singing. In this short mental scene, you practiced words like morning, stretch, sunshine, pancakes, syrup, coffee, balcony, book, and birds. These kinds of stories help you hold on to vocabulary naturally, because you are experiencing the words rather than just memorizing them. Another good strategy is to turn new words into a conversation with yourself. Ask a question using a new word, and then answer it using that word again. For example, the new word is museum. Ask, have you ever been to a museum? Then answer, yes, I visited a history museum last year. It had old paintings and statues. Now take another word like cousin. Ask, do you have a cousin? Then say, yes, I have 2 cousins. They live in another city. By building simple question-answer routines with new words, use them actively and practice sentence construction at the same time. Let's try this practice again with 3 new words: mountain, festival, and glasses. First, have you ever climbed a mountain? Answer, yes, I climbed a small mountain last summer. It was beautiful at the top. Next, do you enjoy festivals? Answer, yes, I love music festivals. They are full of fun and dancing. Finally, do you wear glasses? Answer, yes, I wear glasses when I read or watch TV. You've now used 3 words in natural conversations. These words are now part of a memory. And when the situation comes up again, you will remember how to use them. Don't forget that review is just as important as learning new words. Make it a habit to review old vocabulary every few days. Choose 10 or 15 words you learned last week and use them in new sentences today. For example, if you learned beach, umbrella, and waves, then say, I sat under my umbrella on the beach and listened to the waves. Reviewing like this keeps your memory sharp and your vocabulary fresh. Without review, words disappear. But with review, they become part of your working language. Let's close this part with a practical routine. Every day, choose 5 new English words. Read them out loud. Then write 1 sentence for each. After that, speak the sentence out loud and imagine the situation. In the evening, review those same 5 words again. If you keep this up daily, by the end of the month, you will have learned 150 new words with context and usage. And because you connected them to your real life, the chances of remembering them are much higher. One more powerful way to make English words stick in your memory is by applying the storytelling technique. Our brains are wired to remember stories far better than isolated facts. When you learn a new word, instead of just writing it down, create a small story around that word. For example, if the word is confused, imagine a story where a man enters a restaurant and gets confused because the menu is in a foreign language. He looks around helplessly until someone helps him choose. Now the word confused isn't just a definition in your notebook, it's a feeling, a situation, a visual memory, and a connection. The more bizarre or emotional the story, the more likely it is to stick. Try making a short story for the words confident, curious, and generous. For instance, imagine a child who is curious, opens a box of crayons, tries them all over the walls, and then gets a kind smile from a generous parent who gently explains it was not the best idea. This approach builds emotional connections to vocabulary, which strengthens your memory pathways. Now pause and take a moment to try writing your own story using the words worried, hungry, and friendly. Keep it simple and visual. If possible, say the story out loud too. You will notice a huge difference in how easily you recall these words after doing this. One overlooked but very effective method to remember words is to use physical movement or gestures when you learn them. This is called kinesthetic learning. For example, if you're learning the word run, actually make a running motion. If the word is stretch, stretch your arms while saying it. Physical actions trigger muscle memory and support word recall. When you combine the word, the image, the sound, and the movement, you are using multiple areas of your brain. And this is exactly how long-term memory is built. Try standing up right now and practicing with some words. Say the word jump while jumping. Say smile while actually smiling. Do this with yawn, nod, and wave. It might feel a little silly at first, but you will be amazed at how it helps the words stay with you. This technique works especially well for beginners and kids, but even advanced learners can benefit from it. The key is not to rely on one method of learning, but to mix visual, auditory, and kinesthetic elements together. Now let's talk about practice exercises you can do every day to help remember English vocabulary effortlessly. One daily activity is to keep a word diary. Every night before you sleep, write down 5 new English words you learned that day. Next to each word, write a sentence that includes that word. Even better, write something that happened in your day using that word. This keeps the words fresh in your brain. For example, you might write, "Today I was exhausted after walking for 2 hours. I felt extremely tired, but also happy." Now the word exhausted becomes a part of your personal experience. Do this for 30 days and review the diary weekly. You will notice your vocabulary growing and your retention getting stronger. Also, as a bonus, you'll have a record of your learning journey, which will motivate you to keep going. Another great routine is to do a 5-minute recall challenge. Every morning, take 5 minutes to write down as many words as you can remember from the past week. Don't worry about spelling, just write freely. This retrieval practice helps your brain strengthen connections to the words and brings them from passive memory to active memory. Here's another powerful example of how to combine words into daily thinking. Think about the things you see in your house and name them in English. For example, as you brush your teeth, say, toothbrush, toothpaste, sink, mirror, towel. When you prepare breakfast, say, plate, spoon, bread, butter, tea. Doing this every day will build your vocabulary naturally and connect it with real-life objects. You're not learning words from a book, you're learning them in context. This makes it easier to remember them when you need them in conversation. To take this further, describe what you're doing in English. For instance, say, I'm pouring milk into my cup, or I'm slicing an apple for lunch. These simple daily observations in English help you develop fluency, while deeply remembering vocabulary, because you are engaging your senses, actions, and surroundings. To make sure you are truly absorbing new words, it's essential to review them regularly. One effective technique is called the spacing effect. Instead of studying words just once, go back and review them after 1 day, then 3 days, then a week, then 2 weeks. Each time you review the words, your brain reinforces the memory, making it harder to forget. So, if you learn the word relieved today, try using it in a sentence tomorrow, again after 3 days, and then after a week. The more spaced your review, the stronger your recall. Apps like flashcards can help with this. Or you can do it manually by writing review dates in your notebook. Review doesn't have to be boring. Just pick up your list while having tea or during a commute. And try to recall meanings or make a sentence out loud. If you do this regularly, your mind will start retrieving words automatically when you need them in real-life conversations. Let's wrap this up with a creative practice you can do alone or with a friend. Choose 10 random English words you've learned recently. Now create a short conversation that includes all 10 words. For example, if your words are nervous, event, cake, decorate, plan, guest, music, surprise, gift, and smile. You could make a dialogue like this. I was nervous before the event because I had to decorate the whole place by myself. But everything went according to plan. The guests loved the cake, and the music made everyone dance. The biggest surprise was the gift from my best friend. It made me smile for hours. Practicing like this not only helps you remember the words, but also teaches you how to use them naturally in a flow. Write such conversations once or twice a week, and you'll see your memory and fluency improve side by side. If you want to challenge yourself more, do the same thing but say it out loud, pretending you're talking to someone. This will add speaking practice to your memory training. That brings us to the end of today's video. I hope you've learned many new ways to remember English words, easily and practically. Remember, learning vocabulary isn't just about how many words you collect. It's about how deeply you connect with those words. Make them a part of your everyday life. Create emotional stories. Move your body. Speak out loud. And review often. If you follow these techniques regularly, you'll soon notice a big difference in your English memory and fluency. Thank you so much for spending time with me today. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please consider subscribing to our channel so you never miss our daily English learning episodes. Also, press the bell icon to get notifications as soon as we upload a new lesson. Until next time, keep practicing, keep smiling, and most importantly, keep learning. See you soon.